I have another video that I want you to see. And it goes, let me lay it up this way. You know, right now, the ruble is at a very low spot. We also know that Russia can't get credit. Russia is in trouble because its economic system is falling apart because of all the sanctions. And they have a whole lot of bonds outstanding. And they have a whole lot of bonds that folks would like, now that it's worth nothing to trade. Well, you would think that a patriotic American company would say, you know what? We're not going to mess with these or try to make a market out of these Russian bonds. After all, if we make a market out of Russian bonds, we actually open the door for more Russian bonds to be sold, even new bonds to be sold, which would help the war issue or the war effort on the side of Russia. You would think that our corporations, who our military defends overseas, our corporations who depend on us, right, would say, nah, we're not crossing that bridge. We're not going to do it. Well, of course, capitalism has no soul. It has nothing. It just thinks about what can I do to take my capital and make more money. In that light, I want you to listen to this, and then we'll get it on the other side.
But as many businesses are pulling out of Russia, we've got exclusive new reporting tonight on how one of America's biggest investment banks is profiting on the war in Ukraine. Goldman Sachs. They say they are winding down operations in Russia, which is partially true, because at the very same time, they're actively trading Russian debt to U.S. clients, mostly hedge funds, and they are using a legal loophole to do it. A Goldman Sachs spokesperson tells us this: we have a robust system and control throughout our organization to ensure we are not trading with sanctioned counterparties, which is true. NBC's senior national politics reporter, Jonathan Allen, is my partner on this story. What is this loophole? How is this happening?
So what happened is when the Biden administration put in sanctions on Russian debt, basically on the major financial institutions of Russia, they left open a window. And Goldman Sachs has driven a truck through it. And basically what that window is that U.S. institutions are banned from trading Russian debt with those Russian banks that have been sanctioned, but not banned from what's called secondary trade. So if that debt was already issued to somebody else and they want to sell it to a U.S. buyer, a U.S. Debt holder of Russia to a U.S. buyer, Goldman Sachs is acting as a brokerage. And the government, the Biden administration, has left that loophole open with the basic idea that companies here in this country, institutions in this country that hold Russian debt ought to be able to get rid of it. But at the same time, there are a lot of buyers for what is now seen as cheap debt. And Goldman Sachs has been advertising that to its clients and basically saying, hey, come on board while this debt is cheap. It's going to eventually go up later and you'll make a killing.
Okay, and that's what we need to explain. The idea, hey, let people still trade this so they can close out their positions so there's not chaos in the market, that's really getting abused, because what they are doing is trading hundreds of millions of bonds. Goldman Sachs is going out and pitching trade ideas, market dislocations to distressed hedge funds who are looking to buy something cheap in a crisis. And that's what they do. But this isn't a regular crisis. It's not a company going bankrupt. It is a war. And let's remind you, when you buy Russian government bonds, you are now lending to the Russian government. And when you buy Russian corporate bonds, you are helping that company succeed. So right now, Goldman Sachs is making markets and making money, which is certainly not in line with the spirit of the headline, we are winding down and leaving Russia. And John, the reason I wanted to do this, my takeaway, it doesn't matter how much Wall Street tries to rebrand itself with new slogans, it doesn't change. So if you are a vulture, be a vulture. But do not come flapping your wings to my window and call yourself a dove of peace, because all that Goldman is doing flies in the face of what all of the United States and our Western allies are trying to do.
Exactly. She hits the nail on the head. These guys, just like the January 6th insurrectionists, are traitors, local traders, domestic trade. Well, traders has to be domestic, right? Traders. These guys are traitors as well. They don't give a damn about the Ukrainians. They don't give a damn about Russians. They don't give a damn about Americans. They just give a damn about capital, that mighty dollar. And that is what they intend to do. And it's what the capitalists do all the time. It is we don't care about healthcare. We just care about making money from people who get sick. We don't care about whether water is clean or not. We just know that, hey, we dirty up the water today because it make the product cheaper. Dirty up the water. Later on, we'll charge you to clean that water that we dirtied up later. And by the way, if you pass a law that says we have to clean up the mess that we make, we just use again the laws created to go bankrupt and leave you holding the bag. Remember Love Canal? We can talk over and over and over again about the system until we clean this system up, and you got the power to do it. We will continue to see these things over and over again. You know, you guys look at these guys in a suit and a tie. You know, I don't have a tie on. I'm a little bit more modern than that, you know, but a suit and a tie and everything is great. You think these guys have some sort of respectability. These guys are worse than the petty thief that goes into a 7-Eleven and grabs a pack of cigarette and run, or grab a Coke and run. They are worse than them because they're evil. The things that they do affect millions. And somehow we in our society somehow want to respect these, what did she call them? Vultures. It is time for us to see through the uncolored glasses of what these guys actually represent. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.